Alright, time to look at the comments. Keep uploading videos, don't stop, because I saw some YouTubers stop posting after a few days. You are so great, man. I'm also do gathering and I learned lots and lots from you. Still learning from you. I don't know if you trust me or not, but I downloaded all your gathering videos. Love from India. Um, like all the gathering videos. I have a lot of gathering videos. I wonder, like, Solo Gathering Black Zone Volume 1, 2, and thanks in general. And yeah, a lot of YouTubers generally just stop doing YouTube because they do it too much. Like, they play the game for 6 hours every day and then they get burned out. And I'm very careful that that doesn't happen to me, so you can enjoy me for a long time. Fort Sterling Cape saves you the dancing, but the Thetford Cape saves me a lot of time before fighting the end boss in the Halloween dungeon, so I'm pretty sure that the Fort Sterling Cape isn't worth it, but it's a nice little fun fact. What if they went into Avalon dungeon at 800?
Rather think that they just went back into the hideout. But I don't
Ooh.
know if that's actually a reasonable assumption. Or they split up and want to do some ganking stuff in this map. Now the circle disappeared, which is weird. Either they went into the hideout again, or they split up and want to do some ganking stuff in this map.
I mean, I'm not seeing if there's some random Avalonian dungeon that right there, but it's possible that they went into the static dungeon as well. So maybe you also mean that one. I'm not sure. Swole Benji is a toxic poor guy who needs some mental help. He will poke other YouTubers just to get some attention, and by mentioning this tart in your videos, you are just feeding him. Just ignore. In the end, I and everyone else doesn't need to take it too seriously. Like, it's not going to hurt me, like, when I actually answer a comment concerning this topic. It's all fine. What's the irony of Swole Benji that he think himself as a newbie advisor in Albion but make most of the video clearing tier 5 solo dungeon with 8.3 build? Like, which newbie can afford a 8.3 build? One day he went to Black Zone roaming with a 4.2 build, clearing a 7.1 solo dungeon and got a 7.1 royal cowl. But to avoid that Black Zone is better than Yellow Zone, he told, it's just I am lucky you can make this money in Yellow Zone via tier 5 dungeons in 30 minutes. He will go to Black Zone with a 4.1 set without offhand, with a mule, and expect that he will survive. After he died, he will tell, see guys, that's why you should not ever go to the Black Zone. Like, does it make any sense? It doesn't make too much sense, to be honest, and everybody with a little bit of experience in the game knows that most of the stuff this guy is talking about is not very helpful. This swap, another small Benji comment, is one of those who scare newbie player about Black Zone. Still nowadays, after all those gank nerfs and portal cities and long invis shrines, still he makes videos about how dangerous the Black Zone is. He has problems with lethal contents, but the whole Albion's player-driven economy concept is running because of these lethal contents. Generally, the lethal content is what makes Albion Albion. Without that, it would just be some random, extremely boring MMORPG like World of Warcraft. Like, I don't know the names, I don't play MMORPGs. Albion is a really big exception to actually, like, to me, for me. I don't play any other MMORPGs. I believe it's Fiend Robe, not Unholy Robe. Yeah, in the last commenting video, I didn't really find the name, but yeah, you are right. It's definitely Fiend Robe. Well, I'm scared of cursed deaths and mists, maybe Bedone, but I will hate if there will be only players that come there in 8.3. I'm really not that scared of cursed staffs because they are not that good in catching people. I mean, if you want to fight everyone the whole time, then you can die to such a guy, but if you play safe, you can easily escape a cursed staff, for example. A Badone player would be a little bit harder to escape from, but he also doesn't do too much damage, so it's also kinda easy to get away from those guys. So I'm not sure if I'm too scared of these, but they would be annoying to fight in a 1v1 actually. About the 8.3 thing, I'm not sure how many people will be brave enough to do that. Some will, but I mean, you can also come in 8.3, then you will be equally as strong. Why is that Matro didn't purchase Nature Stuff E? And second thing is where the Nature Stuff user. I guess you're just trolling a little bit. It was just a shrine buff. The Nature Stuff E doesn't last for 3 hours. Do you think of using a face breaker instead of a Muisek with one-handed curse in 1v1? It's probably fine, but you kinda want to maximize the damage. So a Muisek will give you more damage than a face breaker. It mainly depends on what the matchups are that you are finding. If you feel like having a little bit more tankiness would save you and in that regard also give you additional kills, then it can be worth it. Mainly depends on the experience. Kind of have to observe how the fights go and what you need more damage or more tankiness. So many groups of people in 8.3 roads now. I've even ran into a group of 10 or more that was all 7.3 and 8.3. And I'm sure I've seen Coco was with them before. I got away because it was a bunch of noobs in high tier. I mean, noobs will very rarely run around in such expensive gear because they die a lot. Maybe, maybe it was an golden Avalonian dungeon group, just going for these insanely good and insanely hard golden Avalonian dungeons, which just give way more loot and fame than the random ones in the Black Zone. I run around gathering on a wolf nowadays with 8.1 or 8.2 back. Only gather tier 6 if enchanted, otherwise just grab tier 7 or higher and run through so many roads as fast as I can. For me, it's the only way to gather roads now. Yeah, I can imagine that being one of the more efficient ways to do that, because it's really hard to find much in the roads of Avalon right now. At least before the update. Let's see what the update will bring. I think dual swords are better for escaping because of cooldowns, and I think the carving sword is better because the jump doesn't take forever. Actually, IRLVN is made by Sun and contains many elite guilds, who is undefeated right now. Well, that's nice for them, but all the IRLVN players that I see play pretty badly and are pretty useless. Like, which elite guild runs around with Swift Claws? Okay, yeah, that's exactly the right answer to that statement. What do you think about using Moose and Frostram for gathering? I tried most of the mounts for gathering. For me, Moose is the perfect mix of speed plus carry weight with a reasonable price. Let's see, as he told before, he goes way too deep into Black Zone. Most probably Moose is not enough. That's why you use Ghost Boar, but the active spell of the Ghost Boar is really dangerous to use. If you get dismounted after that, 200% you are dead. Like partly true this answer, so I'll quickly answer it myself. As I said before, a moose is not enough. I need a good active ability on my mount, otherwise I will not get away from the really dangerous ganking groups because I run too deep. Moose is definitely good. A good option to save a little money should be the salamander, I think it's called. Well, man, personally, I'm having a hard time using mount below 120 speed because usually good gankers have gray wolves. They will try to overtake me and hold all angles if I use salamander. The good side of salamander is counter poison, which is one of my problem when I'm using moose. Exactly, that's also always my point. You can't just use a mount that has less than 120 uh, bonus percent speed. You simply can't use it when gathering, otherwise you will die to actual ganking groups. Like I'm not talking about some random people with tier 6 gear and swift claws. I'm talking about the tier 8 and tier 9 guys with their dire wolves. Like you will die to those. You have no chance of escaping them with a salamander. It's just useless. Heretic Mule, I don't know the stats of that thing, but I think the stats weren't that great. But I have to recheck that one. Pest Lizard is the best in my opinion. Well, then you are not going very deep in the black into the black zone. Then you're just staying close to your hideout or something. Low carry weight. I suppose if you only go after high tier resources, it's worth it. Decent back and weight passive on boots, and it's enough from my experience. Depends on what you gather. Would like to see you go with really cheap gear and just focus on big stacks. Most likely too inconsistent, but might be profitable. And you could also play with invisibility gank gear and kill those poor solo gatherers. Mm, the first point. The thing is, as a solo gatherer, you do not have the chance to gather too many big stacks. Could still be kinda fine, but hard to say. Needs to be tested. Maybe I'll do that sometime soon. I'm not sure yet. And you could also play with invisibility gank gear and kill those poor solo gatherers. The problem is solo ganking is really bad. You can't kill a solo gatherer as a solo ganker. It's not possible unless he's playing very bad items or he's playing very badly. I mean, to be fair, it is possible, but you have like a few moments where you have to basically flip a coin, and that coin is heavily in favor of the gatherer. You will have like 2 or 3 invisibilities that will where you have a choice of 4 ways, and the gatherer has 3 chances to survive, and you have only 1 chance to kill him. And you have that basically twice. So your chance to kill a solo gatherer with an invisibility gank is at around like what's that? 12.5%. 12.5%. It's really not that good, and you will have a lot of situations where you have to chase for too long and you will die because of that. And sometimes you will just randomly die because you will start fighting somebody who's stronger than you, and you will try to disengage from this situation, but you will not be able to disengage. This will happen sometimes as well. So it's really not that profitable. Hey, how do you gather? Because I got ganked 3 days in a row on Black Zone. Ganked 3 days in a row? I'm getting ganked like 5 times in a gathering run. And if you count all the terrible attempts of ganking that I usually do not count, I get ganked like 15 times in one run. So I don't know what you mean about like getting ganked 3 times, 3 days in a row. You can enter Portal Town in Fort Sterling without having your Thetford portal changed. You can sell, buy, use travel planner, etc. That's true, that's true. But usually I don't want to do that because then I would need to pay travel costs and I cannot teleport back to the town that I want to go back to anyways. Just gather in PvE in blue zones. Are you trolling? Is this irony? I still think people will still ask in the future gathering videos on what you do with the resources. I also think so. I just wanted to make this funny troll video. What's your net worth? Net worth probably means how much I got in total. Like my loot and my items that I have lying around in the bank are worth 345 million. And I have three tier 8 houses with tier 8 mercenaries, mercenary workers, these guys, fully equipped on, I don't know, 100% or if it goes higher, like maximum houses. With that, I don't know how much that is. I'm also too lazy to break it down and sell all this stuff, so I'm just letting it stand there. And I have 67 million silver right now in cash. And I have 400 days of premium, so that's also probably worth something. But what about the resources that you didn't take out of the bank to sell, huh? Mr. Applecheese, answer me. I need to know. Even though that's obviously an ironic comment, it may be interesting. I, of course, only take big bunches of stacks. Like, I only take big stacks from my bank and sell them because I don't want to go selling every time I have loot in my bank. So for the stackable items like resources, books and stuff like that, I always wait like until it's about 500k or something, and then I'll put it into the market at once so I don't have to sell every like 2 times a day or something. At least you did not go as Gucci like in the past. Hope you have fun playing new roads. I also hope that I will have fun playing in the new roads. I'm really excited to see how they will be. If you do 0 to hero with challenge to 100 million or something, what would be your strategy as a solo player? My strategy. Well, the most important thing is that I don't get bored out of my mind, so I stop playing the game. So I would basically do the same thing that I've done on my main account, just play the game and do the content that I'm having fun at right now. But like a very efficient strategy would probably be fishing. Fishing seems to be really good, but you have to play very well for that. I would assume like fishing in tier 8 forests is one of the best strategies to get this money the quickest. It would definitely be a strategy for me that would work for me very well. Um, Otherwise, gathering takes really long to get to this amount of money, but it's also fine. It's okay, but it should be slower than fishing, and everything else is worse as a solo player. Everything else is worse. If you're insanely good at PvP, you could also do corrupted dungeons, but for that you would need to be insanely good. So either you're insanely good at gathering, then just go for fishing, or if you're insanely good at PvP, then go for corrupted dungeons. But I mean, doing that until you reach 100 million will be very monotone, so I don't know if that's a nice challenge to make, to do whatever. Hello, sir. Question. I saw that you use miner boot in normal gathering. Why don't you use miner boots in fishing? Like, I know it's a new account, but if it was your main account, would you prefer to use miner boots rather than this fishing boot? Like your normal gathering? To be honest, fishing is a horrible state for solo players. You need to focus on your minigame so much that it's hard to follow the edge of your screen. I would use miner boots if it was my main account. Yes, exactly, because they are simply better. Exactly, I would do that. Fishing is in a horrible state for solo players. I don't know about that. I also don't know fishing from before. I only know fishing from now. So, and all I can say is that fishing is more profitable than gathering right now. Solo fishing compared to solo gathering. The advantage of gathering is just that you can combine it and should combine it with ganking when you are playing with groups. So, and also roaming in the roads of Avalon. Like you can combine that, and there it is actually really good to have all the gathering stuff on tier 8. You killed me. That slow blacking screen at the end. LMAO. What a legend. You're welcome. You're welcome. I did my best. I did my best. Baby channel. Yeah, not hating at all. Not hating at all. Hello, Apple. Today, November 11, is my birthday. Hope you can send me a congratulations. I apologize because my English is lousy. Like, your whole sentence sounds grammatically correct to me, but I'm not a native English speaker, so what can I say? I wish you the best and, huh? Congratulations.